Work Conference. I am Tivi Jones, founder and CEO of Hey Awesome Girl, a creative studio and marketing agency with a mission to uplift, empower, and celebrate women and women of color. So if you're not familiar, the goal of this conference is to teach attendees everything they need to know to conquer their digital marketing, their project management, their digital operations in this new business landscape, because there is no going back to normal. We are here now and we just got to move forward. So in addition to that, I am so excited to interview amazing women, amazing female entrepreneurs today. And I'm super excited to have the Doc Swiner here with me. Welcome, Doc Swiner.
Thank you. I like the shoulder shrug and the.
I mean, I had to feel it.
Stop it. Thank you for having me.
I see you, as they say in these streets, all the time. I mean, you're one, well-respected, two, hardworking, and, just someone that I've worked with because of clients, but never really had the chance to talk to, at least in this way. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to have you here today. Why don't you tell the audience about who you are and what you do?
Yes. So my name is Nicole, and and that's my government name, Nicole Swiner. And I am a mom of two rambunctious girls, wife to a hilarious and good dude by the name of Rick Swiner, aka DJ Big Fella, and my daytime gig is a primary care physician, a family doctor. So I take care of people of various sizes, shapes, color, creed, etc., from birth to going on to the next life. So that's like my bread and butter here in Durham. Durham Family Medicine is the practice that I co-own. But probably about 7-ish years ago, I kind of branched off and started to do my own kind of entrepreneurial things around the topic of the Superwoman Complex and self-care and mental health. And then that kind of snowballed into publishing some books on that topic, and then helping others to publish on whatever topic they wanted to publish about. And I do that through Swiner Publishing Company. So I do a number of things kind of mixed in together, really just to be able to create the lifestyle that I want for myself and my family, create the balance. There's really no such thing anymore, but the balance or the integration of stuff that I want to create for myself and my family. So we can be happy, we can be mobile, we can be free to move about and do those things that make us happy. So that's me in a nutshell.
I mean, that's a big nut to crack. That's a lot in there. That's a lot. I mean, first of all, you're a doctor, and then you're like, I'm going to start this whole publishing company.
By accident.
Right? You started a publishing company by accident. But let's take a step back, because when I first met you, I don't know if the Superwoman Complex book, and please correct me if that's not the official title. I don't know if that had just come out, but what inspired that topic for a book?
Yeah, it was actually my father, who is not a very, mushy, warm and fuzzy kind of guy. He's very loving, but doesn't talk a lot about feelings and all that. He never has been that way, but very nurturing. But he kind of saw, I think, to keep it really real, going back to my childhood, my mother struggled with mental health issues even before I knew, what that meant, what it was. And I'm very transparent about history. So, she had alcoholism and all of this, I think probably to self-medicate depression type things. And I think having watched her go through the struggles of trying to be the perfect everything for everyone, he probably he doesn't want me to fall into that same rut. So as he saw me, graduate from medical school and meet my husband and get married and fell into a business of owning a practice and all that, he was like, hold up now.
Right. You're doing a
Slow
lot.
down. Yeah, he was like, read this article. I read this article
Yeah.
in Newsweek about women in the workforce, take a look at it. And I just had my first kid. And so he, in not so many words, was the one that gave me the information that made
Mm.
me stop in my tracks and say, okay, let me make sure I'm not overdoing it. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
know that I have all these balls and I'm juggling in the air, but let me not forget about myself. And so
Mm.
that prompted a discussion that my husband and I had about, okay, well, what do we want our life to look like?
Mm.
Like, there's this on paper, as women, particularly if you're, women like us, like, we're go-getters, we go out and we start these businesses and we want to do all the things and then have a life on top of it. But
Mm-hmm.
then ultimately, a lot of times we end up forgetting about ourselves in the process. So that was the thing that kind of helped me talk to my patients about it, about what the Superwoman, and actually what was called the Superwoman syndrome, or the Black Superwoman syndrome, that I kind of took and put it my own twist and called it the Superwoman Complex. And I
Mm-hmm.
talked a lot to my patients about it. Over time, I was writing a lot in, like, the Triangle Tribune and local magazines and social media, and decided to put it together into one thing. And actually, I have two books. The first one's How to Avoid the Superwoman Complex.
Mm.
Second one is The Superwoman Complex, a follow-up visit. Just really to talk about what it is, what my journey has been, what I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to do, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a superwoman, and I have to check myself. My husband has to check me. My kids have to check me, just to remind myself to focus on taking care of myself so I can be happy to take care of
Mm.
these other people. So that's
Mm.
really how it got started.
Wow, that's one. Thank you for sharing that story. As you know, I've been very public about losing my brother and the importance of mental health, and so that
Yeah.
really resonates with me, and definitely is important for the type of audience and the type of community that I want to cultivate with Hey Awesome Girl. So thank you for
Yes.
sharing that.
Yes.
Um, two, two, I'm going to put the links to all the books below this video so people can check them out. Three, okay, so you got the book, got the first book out. Then did you decide to, after that experience, then did you decide to start the publishing company?
So then what happened was, we did the first book. My husband helped me do the first book through Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
They had/have Create Space,
Right.
which they're kind of transitioning out of now. And so we self-published that book through Amazon. Amazon did the majority of the work. We paid them to do it. By the second time around, as I started, going around talking about the book and telling people about this whole complex and all that, I decided to write the second book. I said, you know what? I have enough smart people around me. My husband does the graphic design, web design stuff, photography. I have a number of professional editors that were in my circle, some of them physicians. I didn't even know they did that as a side
Mm.
gig. I learned some stuff about social media. I got a social media mentor. She was helping me learn the ins and outs of that. I said, you know what? We could probably do this ourselves and
Right.
save some money. We still ended up, publishing it on Amazon, but we did the editing, we did all the stuff.
Right.
And by the second time around, when people started kind of seeing, oh, I see you're working on your second book. How did you do it? I've always wanted to write. Could you help teach me about Facebook? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what's a Twitter? Like, people started, what's a tweet? Do I tweet? Do I tweet? Tweet? What is that? I said, you know what? I can teach people how to do this. I
Yeah.
can show them how to do this. And so literally that's how it got started. My colleagues and family and friends were asking me, how did you do it? And I said, okay, I have a network. Let me connect you with these people and I'll show you how to do it. That's how the business started.
Wow. Has it evolved over time, or do you find yourself, I mean, I would imagine you still find yourself getting people who are like, I have a book I want to write. And you're like, actually, I can help you with that. I mean, I hear that all the time just in my circle of
Yes.
writers. So has it evolved, or is it sort of like a consistent drumbeat of the same sort of client?
It is evolving. So now I'm getting many more, particularly in my physician network, where some people are deciding to come out of medical school but not practice. Instead of practicing, they want to
Interesting.
be, they want to establish their brand and be on TV, or they want to just consult or just
Mm-hmm.
own their own consulting business and not practice at all. So I'm getting a lot of people who are coming to me specifically. I mean, that, you know, we talk about publishing, and publishing is always an important piece of branding when it comes to stuff like that. But
Right.
they talk to me just about branding, or they
Mm-hmm.
talk to me just about, I want to be a paid professional speaker. So how do I do that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I hate being on video. So can you mentor me on that? You know, so it definitely has made a little bit of a switch. And publishing, you know, is, or it may or may not be part of that package, but I think publishing is
Right.
a great tactic, as you
Mm-hmm.
well know, to get your foot out there. It's your piece of your resume. People
Mm-hmm.
see you more of an expert, no matter, you know, when I published the first Superwoman book, no, you know, I was a doctor for 7 or 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
and still not until I published this book did people say, "Oh wow, she's an expert." I was like, "I've been practicing this stuff.
Like
I went to school for
I'm
this
a
stuff."
doctor.
Right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't
there's
matter. Like,
there's something about like having, I have some books behind me, having like a book in hand, like saying, I wrote this. People
yes.
are like, "Oh, you're smart. Like, you know
Right.
stuff." I don't know why that, I mean, I appreciate it. As someone who loves books, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, but it's interesting how that works.
It's very interesting.
Mm. So I would imagine, so you've been doing this for years now, and you're helping other people do it, and other people think about, you know, what does a career look like? What does entrepreneurship look like for, you know, speakers, for doctors, et cetera? And we hear about, and as entrepreneurs, we hear a lot about the entrepreneurial mindset. So what do you, like, what does that mean to you? And do you think about the entrepreneurial mindset, like when you're working on your own business or helping other people with, you know, launch their businesses through publishing?
hmm So what I've tried to figure out is what am I truly most passionate about? And then how
Mhm.
can I make money from that?
Mm-mm.
Can I make money from that?
That's an
Um,
entrepreneur right there.
yes, and you know what? I give credit. Literally, I really do give credit a lot. I give credit all the time to my husband, but I give credit to my husband, who was clearly born an entrepreneur, because he came out he came out the womb
Oh
ready to
wait,
like
next time I see him,
hustle, hustle, hustle,
I'm gonna call him that.
literally. And if you know Rick Spiner, you know what I mean. I mean, he was like, I want to make a t-shirt for myself. Hey, I'm gonna buy a t-shirt machine. Oh, got a t-shirt business. Or I like to play with music. Let me
Uh-huh.
wiki on this. Oh, I'm pretty good. Oh, I'm a DJ now. DJ, like literally, that's how stuff just
And
happens in
then
his
next thing
brain.
you know, he's DJing for PBS. So
Hello, for Ninth Wonder's birthday party. So, and blessings, and you know, favor and thanks God and all that. That helps too.
right.
But figuring out what your hobbies are and how you can market yourself as an expert in that field. So, you know, going to medical school and all that growing up, never thought I would want to be in front of people speaking, because I and still to this day I don't love public speaking,
Mm.
but I know I love to teach, and I love
Mm.
to help women, particularly women of color, find what makes them happy. And so being in front of a bunch of women who are, you know, and watching the light bulb go off, you know, because they figured out that they hate their job and they want to be a baker. And how I'm going to do
Right.
that is,
And it's okay to say that too. Like, it's okay to say you hate your job and you want
yes,
to do something else.
yes, it's necessary. But helping women through that and help watching them, you know, make plans to be happy and more joyful and more liberated is liberating to me. And so,
Mm.
you know, thank God I've found a way that I can mentor folks, and I can go around and talk to people about that stuff. And, you know, the writing and all that other stuff kind of just naturally flows in it. So, you know, it took a while. You know, I didn't figure that out until my 30s,
Mhm.
you know. And so I love also helping kind of the younger generations figure that out sooner rather than later. The
Mm.
sooner you
Mhm.
figure out, well, I knew, you know, my mom, you know, my parents said I should be an engineer, lawyer, doctor, etc. That's not really what I want to do with my life. I want to
Right.
do something different. I want to be happy, even if
Mm.
that means making less money. Then let's figure out how to do that. you know?
Right. Yeah. If you,
Yeah.
so one, that sort of thinking, that way of thinking about entrepreneurship to me feels like you're able to acquire success in a more authentic way. It's not, we all these different sort of measures of success might not align with who you are, but what you're doing is you're helping people figure out, all right, what do you actually want, which feels more authentic to
Yeah.
finding success.
Yeah.
So
And
if
then
you,
let's find those avenues. Let's find those avenues. Let's figure out how you can make some good money, you know, because we all want to
mm,
make good money.
mm-hmm,
Let's figure out how we can do that without stressing yourself to death.
right, yeah, and starting early enough so it's you can do that work.
Right.
So if you had to go back and change anything about your entrepreneurial journey, would you change anything, and what would that be?
Well, I think just what you mentioned was maybe having started earlier.
Mm,
I mean, clearly things happen for a reason. Life has to happen
right.
the way it's going to happen. But I wish I would have started thinking about a business during residency. You know, I
Mm,
could have been making some money back then and saving on these school loans. Because now what I see out in the medical school resident nursing realm is that people are starting their brands while they're in school. People are
mm,
writing their books when they're still in school,
mm-hmm.
because they have that vision. They know that there's something different that they want to do, you know, in the end. So I wish I would have started earlier. You know, again, I didn't really have the entrepreneurial spirit. Medical school really didn't teach us to be a business.
Mm,
So, you know, we weren't really taught that. Now it's different. Now in medical school, you can take a lot of business classes
hmm,
or
okay.
get your MBA or get your JD at the same time. You can do that now when before it really wasn't pushed. So that's probably the big thing I would have changed.
Mm. I can dig that. Totally dig that. But I love what you said about everything happens for a reason. I think your path and how everything happened just uniquely placed you to be ready at your point in time, for
Right.
sure. So I have a couple questions asking for advice. So I'm gonna ask as if I'm the person who needs this advice, because I probably do.
You know all the
So
things.
no, I don't. So okay, so if I have a demanding full-time job, but I really want to launch my own business, how do I find the time, like tactically, to actually do this work?
That's a good question. So I'll think back to when I was really kind of getting stuff going. I'm still working 5 days a week in clinic, bringing work home sometimes from work and all that stuff. You have to commit. So at first, you're going to be grinding. You're going to be working. It's going to feel like double, triple duty, until you can get to the point where either you can cut back on the day gig or you can leave the day gig. So you're going to be grinding. You're going to be burning the midnight oil sometimes. You're going to be working on the weekends. But because you're working on your passion, it
Mm,
won't feel like work. You know, it'll be fun. It'll be liberating. You'll feel rejuvenated. Although, of course, you'll probably be tired because you'll be sleeping a little bit less. When you first get started, there's no way to really avoid the grind. If you can take, and that's one thing I talk about just in general with self-care with working women and men, is to take your time. You know, we all have sick time. If you're working a regular 9 to 5, you have your vacation days, you have your sick days. Take those days. Even if you're sitting at home, take those days, right? And on those days, you may be, writing your book while you're off for a week, or you may be writing
mm-hmm,
your book on your vacation in the mountains or whatever. um, and then once you get to the point where either you've been able to cut back a little bit on your expenses, or you've been able to, if you end up getting a loan to start your business, then maybe you can start dwindling back and cutting back a little bit on your day job. So what I did, for instance, was I was 5 days in a clinic, Monday through Friday, on call, all that stuff. But I made the decision, okay, I'm getting busy with this stuff. I have 2 kids at home. I want to be able to go to the PTA and go to dance class with them and do this stuff. I decided, okay, I'm going to cut down to 4 days a week.
mm-hmm,
And so then my staff and everybody had to adjust to that. My patients had to adjust to that. And then after a while, where I was able to kind of tweak and cut back and say, okay, well, this is our budget, and so we have to stick within this budget. I said, okay, now we're going down to 3 days. I'm taking this phone off the hook. I'm going down to 3 days a week. And that was a big adjustment for everybody.
Right.
That was an adjustment for my pocket, an adjustment for my patients. Interestingly, my patients were like, what do you mean you're not in the office every day? What do you mean? And I was like, what do you mean? They were like, but you're a doctor. And I was like, yeah. They're like, but you went to school to be a doctor, right? Like, we see you writing these books and speaking and travel and all this stuff. And I was like, well, that stuff makes me happy, so that when I'm in the office, I can have a smile on my face and not want to strangle everybody in the office. And they're like, oh, I get it. And I was like, and I'm a mom too. Like, so on those days that I'm working from home, I'm still working, but at least I can be there for dinner, and I can wash a load of clothes, and I can, pack a lunch, and that makes me happy. And a lot of people had, they struggled with that. Interesting. So I lost patience because of that. Because they wanted somebody, right? And I was like, love you. Love you.
I am love.
As I write the discharge letter, love you. But yeah, and so you also have to be okay, you have to be okay with people not being okay with your change of your lifestyle. And that's fine too. That's fine too. So you have to make that commitment to yourself. You have to remind yourself that you are that important to yourself. You're important enough to make those changes so that ultimately everybody around you can be happier.
That's really good advice. I mean, there are a lot of nuggets in there, so I hope people were listening. If not, rewind it, listen back. So another question. So I'm not a marketer or public relations professional. I don't know how to build a website. What do I actually need to launch my business, and how do I get the right things in order?
You need a person like Tivi Jones.
Or Doc Swiner.
You get your life.
Link below. Swiner Publishing, link below.
Schedule a meeting, Calendly. Yes. So yes, you can actually find mentors and hire folks to help you. If you're not a social media expert, find somebody that is. If you don't have time to post and take all the, post the right picture and graphic and quote, you can find an intern. You can hire people to do that. You can, Fiverr is one of my favorite things. I found my favorite, I believe she's from Argentina. I've been saying that. I don't know if that's real or not, but I think my most favorite, she is from Argentina. It's a Latin American nation. So anyway, so I found my most favorite social media person through Fiverr, and she is on the spot. So if I need something and I need help with something, she's there. So find people to help you, whether as an intern or a paid professional to help you with the stuff that you don't know about or you don't have time for.
Right. Are there any, so say if someone doesn't have a budget to hire someone, are there any resources that you recommend so they can, as you said, it might be a grind. Part of that grind might be upping your expertise. I know you said that you had got a mentor to help teach you how to do some stuff. Are there other resources you recommend for folks?
Yeah, anyone can learn anything on YouTube nowadays. So you can, find some YouTube clips and videos, right, on things that you don't know about. I watched my peers and colleagues around me. I learned a lot from seeing, other physicians, other women, other people in the lifestyle niche by watching what they're doing, seeing what kind of pictures get the most attention from them. How often are they doing live streaming? What type of pictures are they posting? Are they just posting pretty professionally posed pictures, or are they posting pictures of them out and about doing, actionable things? I watch them, and if you drop in their DMs, or if you have folks in your network, in your community, ask them a quick question. Hey, what app did you use? Or how did you? Most people are fine with sharing some tips and tricks of the trade, especially if you're going to tag them and shout them out and give them praise and share their stuff. I mean, people really do usually want to help each other. So that's great. What else? And you can find some, some ebooks and some audio books and things for fairly cheap that teach you, not to shout out to Smarter Publishing.
I mean, go ahead and do it.
I'm
Because I'm going to ask you at the end to tell all about your stuff.
I just released an ebook on self-publishing for
Link
like $9.99, right? And on my YouTube, I do videos about how to do stuff on your own. You can DIY stuff by connecting with people in your network and just, taking a couple of weekends to do some YouTube research, and you can learn how to do some stuff.
Awesome. And I'm not joking. I'm putting them links below so people can find this stuff. Good. So 2 more questions and then we'll sign off for the public. So because Hey Awesome Girl has a social mission of uplifting and celebrating women, what advice do you specifically have for women who want to become entrepreneurs, who want to become authors, who, want to be published?
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Love yourself enough just to try. Even if you fail, which majority of the time you won't, do it. There are less smart, less intelligent, less qualified people doing this stuff every day, with 1,000,001 followers that you are just as good, if not as better or better than, what I'm trying to say. It's lunchtime. If not better than. So try it, do it. Get somebody to help you. Absolutely try it. Don't be afraid.
And in the vein of getting someone to help you, please tell us what you're currently working on at Swanner Publishing Co. and how people can learn more about you.
Yes. So, in this era of COVID-19 and quarantining from home, I mean, clearly I haven't been able to get out and travel and do, the workshops and the seminars that I want to do, but we are working on something for the summer as far as a virtual conference is concerned. One that will probably focus a lot on self-care and entrepreneurship, and then the other will be on publishing. So stay tuned if you're looking for some education on those types of things. And just continuing to publish, both some personal stuff I'm working on. If you follow me, we do this thing called Couch Chronicles with my husband, who I think is hilarious. I think he is.
He is. He's hilarious.
Most days is really funny. So I'm thinking about putting together a couples book.
Ooh.
I'm thinking about it.
I'm gonna go ahead. What's your Venmo? I'm gonna send you my pre-order right now.
$ Cash App, Dr. Swanner. But I'm thinking about, we've been doing some live streaming every week. I'm thinking about compiling that and putting it into like a couples book. And then just helping a lot of people. A lot of people have hit me up during quarantine to publish books. So I have a lot of people that are coming out with their stuff by the end of 2020 and 2021. Things that they've wanted to write about, things in their heart. They've had a little bit more time since we've been staying at home and safer at home and working on a lot of client stuff.
Oh, awesome. Well, as I said, I'll put all the links below because Nicole, you're doing some great work.
Thank you. You too, Tivi. Shout out to you.
Oh, thank you.
Shout out to you. I love your stuff.
Oh, thank you. Ecosystem is everything. And I really wanted this conference to, not just teach women and teach people, but also, as I said earlier, just highlight some amazing female entrepreneurs and just show women that they can do it. Like you are a doctor who also runs a publishing company. Anybody can find the time to follow their dreams.
That's right. You can do it.
So, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to say goodbye to the folks watching.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.